Criminal lawyer analyzes Andrew Tate's own incriminating words. Andrew Tate be snitching on himself, guys. And that's the thing. It's like there's obviously so much ego. I think the guy genuinely believed he could do whatever the heck he wanted and get away with it. He blatantly said, "Oh, I moved to Romania to get away from law enforcement." And so, the things that he said early on in his career before he was famous are really like dead giveaway, self-snitching, bad idea all around. And I think he sort of cleaned it up later on. But all around, I think it was a really big mistake for him to just sort of, he was just bragging. He was just all of this bravado. Oh, I could do what I want. I can hit a woman here and there. Or I like the idea of being in control and avoiding law enforcement. I shouldn't have to, pay attention to this and that. I've committed multiple felonies. That thing that he says, right? And so it's really, really weird that he would do all of this. I think it just speaks to just this massive, massive ego. But let's take a listen to what this really awesome guy has to say, and I highly recommend that that you subscribe to his channel.
That they're talking about, and all the stuff that he's put out there can be used against him, not taken out of context. So what is he charged with? He's charged with sex trafficking, and I would venture to bet that maybe even some tax stuff might come down the pike. We'll talk about that a little bit more. Sex trafficking, there's three, unless you're dealing with underage, when we don't have any evidence that anybody's underage, but we have three things: force, fraud, or coercion. Force, obviously, that's like being in chains and not being allowed to leave.
Yeah.
Fraud, being kept there under false pretenses. If there's an element of fraud in the way that you are enticing somebody or keeping somebody in a particular position to work for you, and if it's in the sex business, that's sex trafficking. Or coercion, threat of harm, or some other way to limit your movement. And so let's kind of look at one of his very first videos that he did. These are his words, not my words.
Exactly.
And I'm not going to take it out of context. We'll play this. Let's just make sure I'm not taking things out of context.
When you say webcam company, people assume, oh, it's just a sex fest. But in reality, it's a shitload of people management. The HR category of the webcam business is the largest and most important thing. You're effectively taking girls, teaching them how to make unlimited money from home, and then making sure they give it all to you.
So you're making sure that you're teaching girls how to make a shit ton of money and give it all to you.
This
is one of his first instructional videos. A lot of guys, he's got a lot of fans, and a lot of guys think, oh, in order to have some wealth, you have to have a Bugatti, you have to do this, you have to do that. In order to have wealth, you have to have self-pride. You have to know who you are as a person. And where do you get that from? You get that from building, as I've always said. So I do two things. I like to be motivation for.
Honestly, it's so weird. One, that is what sex trafficking is. You can't just. It's different to have an employee, and then you pay that employee. But what he's doing, as you'll see later on in the video, is that he's just taking money from women. He literally admitted to it. No one is coming out and making up this stuff about him. He literally admitted to it. And the whole idea of getting rich and having Bugattis and getting all this money, well, that's not what it is to feel good about yourself. You feel good about yourself from having self-pride and doing the things that you said you were going to do, no matter how big or small. You will never fill the hole that is in your heart with material things. You always need more. Human beings are designed for connection. There's a reason millionaires kill themselves. It's not because they don't have enough money. It's because they lack the connection that they were originally trying to find in the first place. But let's keep going up to this next part here and hear what he has to say. Yeah.
And that was it.
Bedroom in my house. I wanted to buy property in Thailand and move to Thailand. I needed 80,000. I was 10 grand short, and I thought I'd go to the casino and make the 10.
That's also telling. I'm going to go to the casino and try to make money when he's not even a gambler. You guys, stay away from the casino.
You can't make money in the casino.
Obviously, we all know how that story went. So I lost 30, so now I need 40. I needed it quickly. So I was sitting there trying to find a way to make money. So how can I make money? And what I did was, I said to Tristan, I'm literally not leaving my room until I have a way for us to make more money. Because I can only fight so many times per year, and I know their income. So I got a pen and paper, and I was on YouTube, like researching, how people make money, what millionaires have, and they kept talking about assets. I was sitting there thinking, what assets do I have? I'm trying to buy a property. I mean, I didn't own a property in the UK.
Now, think about the word asset. What is an asset? Well, I suppose this hat is an asset. It's not worth much, but it's really, the brand is worth a lot more than the hat is. But what is an asset? The office, the building, your brand, those are assets. Things that you own are assets.
Times I didn't pay any tax to anyone. I didn't want to pay taxes, so I didn't buy a house, so they took it from me. So I was like, what
And keep in mind, keep that tax theme in the back of your head.
Yeah.
assets do I have? Like, I have a car, I have this, I have that. And then I realized I had about 5 girlfriends, all smoking hot. And females are an asset. Attractive females are absolutely an asset. And if you disagree with me, walk in the club with 10 blondes, and you'll see who the most important guy in the club is. Fuck the champagne shows.
Who the fuck cares who the most important guy in the club
Who cares?
The most insecure guy in the club, it's important to that guy. But it should never be important to you to be the most important guy in the club. What should be important to you is the people around you having their respect, but having their respect because, not because you're walking in there with 12 wands.
I've walked in the club with 10 girls, and there's guys next to me doing champagne shows. Is he gonna look at their table or my table?
Yeah.
I don't give a fuck about their table. Pussy is the most important driving force of this planet. Pussy is the only reason that empires
No.
were started and wars were waged. It's the only reason all you guys are out there are even interested in having money. If there was no pussy about, you wouldn't care about having money. You say, oh, a little bit of money and I'll just play chess all day. I don't care.
No, that's
The
not.
only reason we want cars and
At
clothes
all.
and 6-packs and houses and shit is for girls.
That is so simplistic.
It's way too simplistic. And let's bring it back just a little bit in terms of our women assets, our people assets. You know, assets are things that you own: property, stocks, NFTs, crypto, what have you. You don't own people. Now, you could say that, oh, this employee is a great asset to my company. This friend is a great asset to my mental health or my life or something like that. But there's a few key differences between an asset like real estate and stocks and a woman. For example, one of the main differences would be being a human being. You don't own people. This is ridiculous. And the idea is like, oh, I have these girlfriends and they're my assets. Well, hold on a second. It's like it's such a one-sided thing. The whole thing that humans are designed for connection. And when you have a girlfriend, it's not just a one-way thing. The only way the relationship is actually worth anything is if you're putting in the effort too. You can't sell that. You can't sell a relationship because once you're apart, the relationship is gone. It only exists between the two people and you're a part of it. So it's not something you own. It's something that you partake in. You do not own women. You do not own people you're in a relationship with. You are partaking in a beneficial relationship. And in doing so, it may be an asset, as in it benefits you, but you don't own the person. You are partaking in a mutual exchange. Women are not things to be bought and sold. They are our wives, our mothers, our sisters, our aunts, our sisters in Christ, our friends, our acquaintances, our co-workers. They're just as freaking smart as us, and they have feelings, and they freaking matter, okay? Now, I suppose he's trying to think that maybe, oh, I have lots of these women that like me, that means other men look up to me. How insecure do you have to be to give a crap? That sounds like a very non-alpha thing to care about. I feel like the more alpha thing to care about would be your own personal self-worth that comes from doing the things that you say you're going to do and building something that matters to society, not walking in the club with like 10 blondes and having everyone look at you. Who cares? You leave the club, what are you going to do next? You know, like... It's so stupid, and I think that part would definitely be misogynistic in terms of like the things that Andrew Tate has said. I think that thing is definitely a misogynistic thing to say, and you know, you can't just treat people like that and reduce them to, oh, they're just assets or something like that. That's not appropriate at all. It's oversimple. Like it's oversimplistic. It's honestly a little bit ridiculous. But let's roll up to another section where
Control.
It's a very important element, that control.
Girls are like, what the fuck do I need this dude for? And they will leave. You know, every aspect of control. Tax is also another important element for controlling your woman. You're not going to pay anybody tax because you're getting paid in Bitcoin. So you don't need to pay tax to anybody.
That's not legal advice, by the way.
You need to tell your girl that you're paying the tax.
Yeah,
because
it's
girls
not
are
legal.
lazy. And girls are stupid. And girls don't understand how taxes work. So if the girl's working with you, and you're like, oh, okay, yeah, we made this much money, but I'm going to pay the tax to make sure we don't get in trouble. She'll say,
Again, like, do you notice the theme here? Like, he doesn't respect these people that are women. It's like, girls are stupid. They don't know how tax works. You know how many, like, female accountants there are? Like, a lot.
okay. Now that allows you to do two things. One, it's another control element.
See how that control is a recurring theme over and over and over again?
If I work with him, my tax is not a problem. If I do it alone, I have to deal with taxes. Taxes are complicated. It's a control element.
And he doesn't have respect for these women at all because he thinks they're stupid.
It allows you to pay her a smaller percentage. So I used to pay my girls 30%. So for every $10,000 they made, I give them 3, and I keep 7. They thought they were on 50%. And I said,
he's a liar,
disparity
too.
is because of taxes. So you're on 50%, we have to pay the tax first, and then it's 50-50. If they say, why is it 50-50? Because I'm the one on camera. You say, because I'm the one typing, I'm the one with the property you're working in, I'm the one paying the bills, the electricity, I'm the one who's, and the electricity and every other maintenance cost of this property, I'm the one who bought the equipment, I'm the one who knows what he's doing, I'm the one with the knowledge, I'm the da-da-da-da-da. Shut the fuck up, go on. And they should be pretty happy with that if they respect you as a person overall. So you're paying 30.
If they respect you as a person, don't bother respecting them as a person, like, at all. But they have, it's such a one-way street with this guy. It's so weird. It's like he's like, women are stupid. Well, they should respect you as a person. It's like, well, again, back to the whole relationship thing that you partake in. Respect is a two-way street. Right? Ah. Liar. That's fine.
Sign away. I'm not fucking signing. I'll throw them away afterwards. They think something's happening. Something real's happening. Nothing's happening except me getting rich, bitch.
Nothing's happening except for me getting rich, bitch. That's
Yeah.
what he just said. So he's taking another 20% of what would have been their earnings, saying he's paying taxes, but he's not paying taxes. His words. Having them even sign a dummy tax form that is just to try to convince her even more that he's paying some taxes, which is just ridiculous.
It's
And
fraud.
So, what is the middle word? Fraud. That's fraud. Force, fraud, or coercion.
Anyway, so tax is another important element to keep control of the girl. You have to fuck the girls. You cannot do a business relationship with a female, and I'll tell you why.
This is ridiculous.
Women have sex with somebody.
What?
If they're not fucking you,
So
they're
do
fucking
men.
somebody else. Now, a woman's always going to be the most loyal to the guy she's fucking, as opposed to anyone else for any other reason. If you have a girl work for you and you say, look, we're going to go to this farm, we're going to make money, here's your cut, here's my cut, we're going to work together.
It's like, yeah, as a man, I would be the most loyal to the woman that I'm with as well. That's what it means to be in a bonded relationship. And just because someone is in a relationship where they are most loyal to them doesn't mean that they can't work for you. Because people can think and they can make different levels of commitments. I am committed to my wife, but say I have a female boss, I am committed to working for her and doing the best that I can. It's so ridiculous, and it's like he's basically just a few hairs shy from legally being a pimp. But if you go back and watch the full video, which I'll link down below, he says very clearly that the psychological aspect is more or less the same. And it's absolutely ridiculous that he thought he could just like up and say all of this stuff and get away with it. And that they're not going to use this against him. They are absolutely going to use this stuff against him. And so, honestly, man, it's so
I'm quite a lot.
weird. And so let's move over to what Alba and Preach had to say, because they did a really good job of sort of like walking through, because a whole bunch of new texts and transcripts came out, and maybe it sounds like they were leaked to the press on purpose by the prosecutors, probably to help move things along the way that they want. But let's check this out, because you guys should subscribe to Abba and Preach as well, by the way. But these are, yeah.
Marriage. Then discusses said victim as a commodity to be used for making money. Andrew Tate says, you have to understand that once you're mine, you might be mine forever. A woman never leaves her man. I'll be the last man in your life. What do we do if we fall in love and I kidnap you to bring you to Bucharest? And then the girl replies, I don't think it's kidnapping if I want to come. First, I have to see in your eyes that you will never be able to live without me, and then I can trust you to show you everything. Bring a ring when you come. This is what the girl said. He says, can you be loving enough to be a wife, to always be on my side wherever I go, to talk to zero men besides me? You have to move to Romania with me to keep an eye on you. You're mine. Don't ever forget that. And she says, but can I trust you? He says, yes, you can. We'll meet in Romania. So they're basically establishing that the way that he's getting these people involved in the whole business is through fraud. And if you remember what the guy said earlier in regards to some of the criteria that need to be met, okay?
Yeah.
And one of them is fraud. And that's what they're trying to establish with these conversations.
Yeah, so like honestly, like sex trafficking, it doesn't necessarily, like, they changed the law so that like if if you have a boyfriend and a girlfriend, and the girlfriend's on OnlyFans, but she gives all the money to the boyfriend, that's sex trafficking. Like, people get, in big trouble for that.
That they might inquire to make that charge stick. Basically, he wasn't telling people, hey, I'm running a can business, come down. He's like, I want to marry you. You're going to fall in love with me. You're going to fall in love with me. He gets them all the way down to Romania inside of his compound. Then he springs it on him with who? His body. So Andrew Tate says, you're not stupid. And he's talking to one of the victims. You're not stupid. And you can probably guess how I make so much money. I have to hide what I'm really doing. And the victim says, webcam? And he says, I've been doing this for a long time with a team of girls working on video chat. The company was fake, but this is how I laundered my dirty money. Some of the girls who work for me, I use them to do other things. To move money or illegal things, documents, and I will never do that with you. Basically telling the girl, you're different from the others. I make them do the really illegal stuff. Again, they have it right here in the wiretaps, okay? They're admitting to this stuff. This is going to be used in court, and you're gonna have a hard time explaining this one away. What is this money laundering that you were doing?
You can't go to the court and be like, hey, what happened was... Scratch your head.
Yeah!
Well, you see, we were doing a play, and I was playing a character that had the same name as me, and we were trying to write like a movie or something, or like something. It's like, how do you explain that away? How the heck do you explain that away? They literally wiretapped his place, and they got that.
Okay, so now here comes the next part. This is I think the biggest one. Tate's angels, meaning the bottom, the two women. I mean, what they call them, bro? What would you always say? This is what it reads.
Charlie's, you know what to say, hoes?
These are the women who work for him. The Glay Maxwells. If you don't make money, we're gonna have a problem. Punch yourself in the mouth until I arrive, because then I'll give you another 10, you incurable slacker. And the other girl says, I'll break you when I get there. And the victim says, what did I do? And the bottom is, you have 1 hour and 10 minutes to disappear. And the victim says, but what did I do? You're down 20%, 4 days since you posted. And she says, if Andrew looks to see you if you posted TikToks, you won't even have time to pack. You're flying off the balcony straight away. So what does this conversation really mean? This is where this is important. It might not mean much to y'all because you're like, well, when they're taking this in conjunction with everything else, the fraud element involved, the coercion element, the aspect of like lying about what they're really going to be doing there, the fact that this girl who works for Tate is saying she's going to be punching the girl 10 times when she gets there, that there's these threats of violence, the one saying like, Andrew Tate gets home, you're going to be flying off the balcony. Is that literally? Probably not, but there is some element there of threats of potential violence if you don't do what's needed. When you take that to court, and these are conversations that are happening in private, you understand? They're going to take this into strong consideration when they're making their case. They're like, how do you explain this stuff? Oh, we're just joking. We're not going to actually make her. Well, then why is the victim terrified? Oh, she's just lying. And you think that's going to be a real defense in court?
The thing is, there's some people that are not going to believe that.
Of course.
There's going to be a lot of guys going to be like, yeah, it ain't that bad, it ain't that bad. And you know why? Because they actually talk like that. They talk
Which
like
is
that with the
weird.
girls. The girls, I'm saying guys, but I'm talking, girls do the same shit. Oh my God, I swear, I'm going to punch you in your mouth. And people talk like that on a regular basis. I was astonished at the fact, the language that some people use with their friends or with their loved ones. Yeah, but it's just, I'm just talking. It's just this, it's just that. Whenever you talk to them or whenever you check them, so,
it's ridiculous.
You cannot talk to me any kind of way. You can't talk to me about you're gonna punch me in my face. You can't tell me that you're gonna kick me in my throat. You can't do shit like that. You know, man, it's just talk. It ain't real.
No.
These people are going to be super motivated to do this. Move from the UK.
It's not, you can't defend that. You can't defend that. It's like, in my relationships with the people in my life, you don't get to talk to me that way. You don't get to talk to me that way unless it's blatantly sarcastic and we're all laughing and having a good time and it doesn't freaking matter. But you can't do that. And it's so sad that people actually think that speaking to one another that way is normal. And it's something that should be ordinary and accepted. It's not. It's terrible. And you shouldn't do that because the words that you speak can come from within. And, you know, the emotions that you're actually feeling for those people, it matters. It manifests in your actions. It's like, you can't treat people that way. You can't treat people that way. So anyways, you know, my thoughts are, I think it's very, very likely that Andrew Tate is completely screwed. If that's what they leaked to the public, they probably have so much more. Remember, they raided like 7 houses. They raided like 7 houses and they took all of his cars away. Like, you can't just do that willy-nilly. Like, you have to have, you know, some serious evidence to say, yeah, this is a good idea. We need to raid this guy's, like, 7 places and take all of his cars away. And we're going to deny him, you know, parole or bail or whatever it is that they have in Romania because we're afraid that he's going to leave the country. You know, like, I think he's screwed. If that's all that they're leaking, they have much more. I am almost certain that they have so much more evidence. It's going to be, it might end up being a beatdown, if I'm honest. If this might turn into, I think he might be done. This might be it for him. But in terms of